Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make miniature beaded baskets. I have been experimenting with different kinds and sizes of beads so that all of you have a bigger chance to make these beaded baskets. As you can see, I have 3 different sizes of these baskets: small, medium, and large. The small ones here I made with 10 seed beads, and I found that you can use different sizes of bugle beads, of course, but you don't want to go any smaller than an 8mm bugle bead. So this one is a 9mm, and this one is 11mm bugle beads. So you can use 8mm, 9mm, 10mm, 11mm, and higher. Now if you have issues when you go higher than that, then you might have to use a larger seed bead to kind of even out your basket so it works for you. So on these two here I did pastel colors for Easter, and on the bottom, because of how I designed it, I saw a flower, so I just changed the centers, the color in the center, and I have little flowers in the bottom. So if you're into holiday jewelry, these would be really cute for earrings, little Easter basket earrings. So these are the small ones. Now for the medium baskets, I use paper beads. I was going to make paper beads just for this basket, but I went through my stash and I couldn't believe it, but I actually had some pastel colored ones already made. So this is what my basket looks like. And because of how the handle is, I had to make it wider because for some reason it was kind of floppy. So I made the handle wider, because on these ones here you could see how close it is together, and I had to make this wider because my handle was acting up. So because I did that, it kind of took on an oval shape, which is fine because I think it's so cute. If you don't know how to make paper beads, there are so many videos on YouTube on how to do this. I don't have a video on it, but I kind of think it would be ridiculous if I did make a video, because there are so many videos on this on the internet, and I've actually found some newer ones that people have put out there, and they're really good, advanced ones where they really tell you every little thing that you need to know about making the perfect paper bead. So I actually learned how to make paper beads from Beyond Bracelets and Janice May. So I don't know if you've heard of those two, but those are 2 channels on YouTube that done the paper beads. Now I did pearls with this one. 4mm pearls. I was going to do 6/0 seed beads, but I wasn't happy with some of the colors I had, so I wanted this to be really Easterish, and I needed some really just pretty colors. So what I did was I got my giant bucket of pearls. I got all of these pearls from a wedding dress. All the time I used to go to thrift stores and find beaded stuff, and I would take it apart. So this is a gel container, hair gel container, and I just saved it and I put all the pearls in it, and I'm always saving containers like this so I can store stuff in, but only clear ones, because the colored ones, you can't see what's in them, so you don't use them and you forget it, and you always have to open it up to see what's in it. So I always save clear containers for my beads, and there are a couple different sizes in here. There's 4mm, 6, and I have teardrop ones, and also have 2mm pearls. Right there's one. So this is my medium basket, and you don't have to use paper beads. You can also use wooden beads, so I'm going to be going on to this one next. But the basket I'm making in the video, I'm actually going to make a medium-sized one, and my wooden beads that I'm using are just a little bit smaller than the paper beads, just by a tad. So what I did is I'm going to use 2 beads and stack it to make it higher. So I have this wooden bead here, and I'm just going to stack them on top like this, and that's what my basket's going to look like, going all the way around. And I found that you can stack the beads, but the thing is you don't want to stack 2 beads that are the same size. So if you're doing bugle beads, you don't want like 2 bugle beads that are the same size. You need 1 bead to be larger, because when I was trying to make this and I did it with 2 bugle beads that were the same size, it was kind of buckling and it wouldn't keep its shape. So make sure that you have 1 bead that is a lot longer than your other if you want to do the stacking. So this is the medium one. So this is my biggest basket, and what I did is I wanted to make the biggest basket that I could possibly make. So I went through all my beads, and the biggest beads I had were these 1-inch beads here. And the smaller ones are 5mm wooden beads. Now, if you remember these ones, that I showed you, there are holes in the bottom. Now, I don't plan on putting anything inside of these ones, so those holes are fine. And plus, I need the holes because I got this flower look going down. Now, in this one, I didn't fill the holes in the bottom of this one because I wasn't going to put anything really small in this one. I was actually going to put like rings and stuff in this little basket when I wasn't wearing my rings. But in this one, I wanted to fill it with candy jelly beans. So I had to fill the holes in the bottom. So this one is a tad bit different. So right here, you can see all the holes are filled with these larger beads. And I think these were 9mm wooden beads. I have to check my notes. Anyways, so my beans didn't fall out. So I counted, and I actually have 40 jelly beans in this little basket, and I thought that was really awesome because the serving size on the container says 37. So I thought that was so cool that I fit 40 jelly beans in this little basket. So you might ask, well, what can you do with these baskets? Well, like I said, if you're into holiday jewelry, you can make these ones for earrings. Or you can just decorate your beading surface with the baskets, which is what I'm really going to do with all these, because I always find that I get inspiration when I have things around me that I've made and they're displayed and I get to see them. So like I said in my tassel video, I have beaded purses on my walls and stuff. So whenever I see stuff like that, it gets me inspired to create more stuff. So I really am just going to display these in my room. This one here, I am using it to hold jelly beans, of course. So you can do whatever you want with these baskets. You can use them for Easter decorations, or you don't have to. You can just decorate your beading area with them so you can get some inspiration. You can do whatever you want with these, really. So I was thinking that you might ask, where did I get these 1-inch wooden beads from, and the 5mm wooden beads, and the 9mm that I used to fill the holes? Well, truth is, I have never ever bought wooden beads brand new. I've always bought them at thrift stores and recycled them from broken purses and belts and anything that I can find the wooden beads on that I like the wooden beads. So I'm going to show you my wooden bead collection, and every single one of them I've gotten from thrift stores. I've never bought them new. So this is what I store all my wooden beads in. This is called a rolly kit. These used to be really popular a long time ago. They come in 3 or 4 different sizes, and this is the biggest one they sell. It's $50, and I wanted it, but I couldn't afford it back then, so I waited, and my mom has always said good things to come that those await, and I found it for $5 in the thrift store. It already had beads in it, but they were little kids' beads, and I took them out. So this little thing right here is how it locks. So sliding to the right, it's locked, and then to the left it opens, and it just rolls open. So I'm going to grab the handle and show you how it opens. Just like this. And this here is a huge section to put tools and stuff in, but I just put really big bags of wooden beads, and it's deep. It's like 4 or 5 inches deep. Anyways, here are my big bags of wooden beads that I've got from purses, and this here keeps rolling out. And I put this on my queen-size bed whenever I need beads, and it goes the whole length of the foot of bed, and it's actually still a little bit longer. So here it is, rolling out. And then this right here is another big compartment where I store beads. And there's my dog that snores all the time in the background that everyone always asks about. So I have more big bags of beads right there, and the whole entire thing is full of wooden beads. I probably couldn't put any more beads in here if I wanted to, so I gotta use them up. So anyways, this closes, but you have to be careful when you close it because it can spill if you don't close it correctly. There's this little spot right here that this connects to, so you can see how that hits that, and then you slowly fold it, and all the beads stay in their compartments. You just have to be very careful when you put it away that you're folding it slowly and correctly. And then to fold it all the way, you have to grab the handle at the back, and just like this, it closes, and I have a bag sticking out. And then this slides over to lock it. So this is my rolly kit, and it is really heavy, full of wooden beads. I usually store it in my closet so nobody sees it. Here is the list of materials you will need to make the small beaded baskets. You're going to need 40 inches of 8-pound or 10-pound monofilament, 10O seed beads, 12 bugle beads, and these 12 that I'm talking about are the big ones that are for the bottom of the basket. So, like I said earlier, you can use 8mm, 9mm, 10mm, 11, and probably even larger. But if you do use larger ones and you have issues, if it's not working out right, the basket, then you might have to go up in your seed beads a little bit, up in size. So you can go to like a 9/0 or an 8/0 seed bead. And yes, 9/0 seed beads do exist. Now for the beads for your handle, you can use whatever you want. With the little baskets, I didn't like the big bugles in the handle. I thought it kind of looked weird, so I used 4mm bugles in a purple color because I had the pastel Easter thing going on. And that is it for the small. Here is the list of materials you will need to make the medium basket. You're going to need 6 feet of 10-pound monofilament, at least 12 paper beads or the wooden beads for the basket down here. This one I did 15 because I added 3 more in the handle, so 12 on the bottom plus these here is equal to 15. Now my paper beads are 3/4 inch, but my wooden beads are 1/2 inch, and when my wooden beads are stacked with these beads, they are 3/4 inch. So remember again, I said that you could stack them, but you don't want to stack the same size beads because it buckles. So you need one bead that is much larger than the other if you want to stack them. You're also going to need 4mm rounds, and these are plastic pearls, and they had nice size holes for this project. And if you don't want to use rounds, you can use 6/0 seed beads, and they work just fine. You're also going to need beads for your handle, and I chose to use paper beads along with the pearls in my handle. And you're going to need 6 beads to fill the holes in the bottom. And filling the holes is optional. You don't have to do it. It's the very last thing we do is fill the holes right before we tie knots. So in this one I chose not to do it because I'm not going to put really small stuff in here. So I found that the beads that I'm stacking with these fit perfectly in the holes in my basket, so I will be using this. Now, the size may vary depending on how large your holes are, so really you just need to find beads that fill the holes just right. So this is all the materials you need for the medium basket. Here is the list of materials for the large basket. You're going to need 8 feet of 30-pound monofilament. Yes, I said 30-pound. I've never used it that big before, but the 10-pound definitely wouldn't work. I tried using it, but the basket was so floppy and it wouldn't keep its structure. So whenever I use monofilament, I use it a lot, mostly because when I make 3D things like this, it keeps a really nice structure to it, and thread doesn't do that. So whenever I make stuff like this, I use monofilament. Now these beads are so big and their holes are large, so I had to go up in size on my monofilament. So I found 30-pound to be really good to keep this basket in its nice shape, so it's nice and stiff. If you know somebody that is into fishing, or maybe you are into fishing, if you already have 30-pound monofilament, you might want to use it out of your fishing supplies instead of buying a giant spool of it, because you're only going to be using it for this basket unless you're going to be making several of these baskets. Then I could see you buying a big spool of it. You're also going to need 16 1-inch wooden beads or paper beads, so they don't have to be wooden. And remember I said all the baskets are made with 12 here at the bottom, but with the larger ones I use the beads in the top. So there's 12 here plus 4 is 16. You're going to need 5mm or 6mm wooden beads. So these are the 5mm beads, but 6 will also work. You're also going to need 6 beads to fill the holes in the bottom, and I measured these big ones and they are 9mm and they fill my holes just right. If you use beads that are too small for the bottom, the basket will start to crush, so you know that it's not going to work, that you need bigger holes. And what I did is my beads kind of stuck out the bottom, so when I put them in, I pulled it tight and I pushed them through the basket so my basket sits flat. And the beads for your handle, you could do whatever you want. I used the large beads and the 5mm wooden beads for the handle. So this is all the materials you need for the large basket. So that's the materials for all 3 sizes. If you want to see this in writing, remember I always put the list of material in the description bar below the video, so go down there and check it out, because you are definitely going to need to see all of this in writing because it is a lot of information. I colored the ends of my monofilaments with permanent markers. One's black and one's red, so you can easier see what I'm doing. And the first thing we're going to do is make the bottom of the basket. And I just want to make sure that you know that all of these baskets, even though they look different, they are all made the same exact way. I just use different sizes of beads to get different looks. So the first thing we're going to do is make the bottom of the basket, and if you want the flower look, what you're going to have to do is pick up 6 beads and cross through the 6th one. And then we're going to go on to do these beads here on the outer edge, the blue ones. And I'll explain to you how to do that. So I'm going to take one of my strings, doesn't matter which, and I'm going to pick up 6 beads. There's 3, here's 2, slide those 5 down, pick up a 6th one, and cross through it. Just like this. Make sure your ends are even, and bring this bead down to the center of your string. So now you should have a circle, and this should be the very center of your flower on the bottom of your basket. Now, for the edges here, what looks like the petals, it's going to be a little bit different. You can see that we have 2 beads here, and those are the beads we cross through, and then on the outer edge we have 4. So what I do, instead of saying a number of how many to pick up, is I do it this way. Here's 2 beads, so that's going to be later on I'm going to cross through those. And then here's my 4, so this is for the outer edge, so there's 3, 4, so that's a total of 6. And now I'm going to pick up 2 more, and I'm going to cross through these. Just like this. And bring this down. Sorry, I got out of frame there. So now it looks like this, and if I was using 2 different colors, this would be the center. So there's 6 beads here, and there's like, was there 8 over here? No, 9 beads. Okay, so I'm going to take the string that's in the middle, and I'm going to reposition it so we can make another one of these petals. So right here, I'm going to go through the next bead. Just like this. Put this down. Now the string that's on the outside, this is the one we're going to be using to pick up beads, and the string on the inside we're just going to be crossing through the one on the outside with. So now I have to pick up 4 because I already have these 2 here, so I have to pick up the 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let them slide down, and then I'm going to pick up 2 and cross through them. Bring my ends together and bring this all the way down till it looks like this. So remember, this here is still the center of our work. So now I have to reposition the string again. So I'm going to take this one here and go through the next bead like this. So now I have to take my outside string and pick up more beads. Let me find my ends. Okay, so I'm right here, and I have to pick up 4 beads, slide them down, pick up 2, and cross through them. Just like this, and bring it on down. And this is what it looks like. And now we have to reposition our string again. So the string on the inside, you always have to reposition it by going through one of these beads in the center. Just like that. And again, with the outside string, I'm going to pick up 4 beads. This is my outer edge, remember? And then 2 that I have to cross through. So cross through these 2. Bring it down. It should look like this. So now we have 4 petals, and here's our center. And again, we have to reposition our string by going through the next bead. Just like this. Again, with the outer string, we have to pick up 4 beads for our outer edge. There's 2, 3, 4. 2 more, and cross through them. Just like this, and bring it down. Now I have to make one more petal, but first I have to reposition it. Now we're going to be picking up less beads this time because we already have all these beads here to work with. So the string in the center, I'm going to take that and go through this bead here, just this one, pull that through, and then I have to take the same string that's still in the middle and I'm going to go through these two right here. Just like this. This is what it looks like. Now I'm going to put my strings together and find the one that is longer. And that is my red one. So I'm going to take my red one, pick up 2 beads, let them slide down, and pick up 2 more and cross through these. So this is what the bottom of our basket looks like. Now we're ready to do the sides. Now that our bottom is complete, we have to find out which string is longer. So I'm going to put together like this and straighten these out, and my longest string is the red string. So I'm going to take the red string and pick up beads with that one. So lay the bottom down, and with the red one I'm going to pick up one of these long beads. Since I'm stacking beads, I have to pick one of these up, and then I have to pick up 2 seed beads because we're going to do the top edge of our basket, and then one of these red ones that I'm stacking, and then one of these. Now if you're just doing bugle beads or a paper bead or wooden beads or just like this, but you're not stacking, you're going to cross just through this. But since I'm doing the stacking way, I have to cross through both of them. So just like this, and cross through them and bring it on down. So this is what it looks like, and now I have to get my string repositioned to make another row. So right here I am, and here are those 4 beads I was talking about. Now I'm going to go through these 2 seed beads right here, just the 2, and pull my string out. Now we are in position for the next row. So lay that down, and with the outside string I'm going to pick up my beads. So I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads, let them slide down, one of these smaller wooden beads, and one of these. And now I have to cross through them. So make sure that you cross through both, just like this, and slide it down. Now we have this. So now I have to reposition my string again. So the string here that's at the bottom, I have to go through 2 of these beads. Just like this, through these 2, and pull the string. And now we are in position for another row. So I'm going to sit that back down, and you can see that it's already wanting to stand up, and it's going to keep loosening up like that, but don't worry about it because it's really easy to tighten. Okay, so now that it looks like this, I have to pick up 2 seed beads, let them slide down, one of these wooden beads, one of these long ones, and cross through it. Through both of these, just like this, and bring it down. So this is what it looks like. And now I have to reposition again. So I'm pulling this string in my right hand, and I'm going to take this string and reposition it. So here's my 2 that I went through already, and now I have to go through these 2. Just like this. Careful not to go through these here. So you could see the bottom here and understand it better now that we're doing this. Here's the 2 that we were crossing through in the bottom, and now we have these 4 on the edge. And we're not going straight through this one. We are crossing at the big bead instead of going straight through it. So right here you could see that. So again, I'm now in position to do another one. So I'm just going to sit this back down, and with the string that's on the outside I'm going to pick up more beads. 2 seed beads, one of these red wooden ones, and one of these blue ones, and cross through it. just like this. Pull it tight. And now I have to get repositioned again. So here are the 4 beads in the bottom. I'm just going to go through those 2. Just like this. Sit that back down. Find my other end. Okay, with my outside string I'm going to pick up more beads. So 2 seed beads. Let them slide down. A wooden one. And then one of these long ones. Just like this. And I'm going to cross through them. Bring it down. And pull it tight. And let's check the shape. And everything appears to be going really good. Okay, so now we're here and we are ready to reposition our string again. So pulling this one tight in your other hand, take the string at the bottom of the basket and go through these 2 beads. Just like this. Sit it down, take the string on the outside and pick up more beads. 2 seed beads, slide them down, one of these wooden beads, and then one of these blue ones. And cross through. Just like this. Bring it down. Again, you have to get repositioned. So I'm right here and I have to go through 2 more beads. Just like this. Pull it through. So when you come back and you look over here, you could see that there's 2 there we went through. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And now we have to pick up more beads. So once you get far like this, you do need to look back to make sure that you're doing it right. And that's one way that I see that I'm doing it right. Okay, so pick up 2 more beads, seed beads, one of my beads I'm stacking, and my last wooden bead. Just like this, and cross through it. Bring it down. And now we have to reposition. So take the string at the bottom of the basket and go through these 2 beads right here. So now that we're through here, we have to pick up 2 beads on the string, 2 seed beads. 1 red bead, and one of these blue ones, and cross through it. Just like this. And again, we have to reposition our string and go through these 2 right here. Just like this. So keep going doing this until you get to the other side, and I'll show you how to close up the basket. So I kept on going, and now I'm here, and you could see I'm exiting out of this bead. I have these 2 to go through, and then I have to go through this first one. So I did 12 of these blue ones and 12 of the red ones, and remember, if you're just crossing through long beads, then you only have 12 and you won't have those red ones that I have. So right here is where I'm at, and I have to reposition my string. So the string that's on the inside, I'm going to take that, and it was red but it faded off. I'm going to go through these 2 beads just like that. Then I'm going to take the string and go up to the bottom of this one and the red one, but not the black seed bead. So do these 2 wooden beads and pull this through just like this and pull it tight. Because the holes in these beads are so large, it makes it loosen up a lot. But once you get to the part here and you tighten it, everything tightens because those holes are so big. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up 2 seed beads and cross through them. filling in my last gap. So this is what my basket looks like. And right now it is all scrunched up, and it's actually taking on a 6-point star shape, and that's because of how the bottom of our basket is. So when you open it, there'll be these little gaps right above these wooden beads, and what we're going to do is we're going to fill those gaps with these seed beads. So make sure that your basket is tight, and the rest of my beads here are for the handle and to fill the holes in the bottom. So for now I'm going to set these to the side because I won't need them until I finish this part. So right now, before I go any further, I have to find which one of my strings is longer. So again, pull this tight, just like this. Put your strings together and pull it until you find the longer string. So my longer string is the black one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the spaces around the edges so this basket has a round shape. So on this one you can see that I filled in the edges with these purple seed beads, and it gave the basket a round shape because right now it's scrunched up. So take the longer string, hold the basket in your hand like this, pick up one bead, and we're going to fill in these gaps. Pick up one bead, go through these two, just like this, turn it, pick up one bead, go through these two, one bead, these two. So because one of our strings is longer, we're going to be going more than halfway around the basket to use that up than we are going to be with the other string, because that one's shorter. So pick up one bead, go through these two, pick up one, go through these two, pick up one, through these two, and I'm just going to go a little bit further, pick up one, through these two, pick up another one, and go through these two on the edge. So I'm going to stop right here because I am more than halfway. Pull this tight, and I'm going to show you up close. See, here's our gaps that we have to fill, and here are all the gaps I filled, and you can see that our basket is now going round. So I'm going to stop right here and go to my other string and fill in these gaps, and you can check to see which one of your string is longer, and it's my red one, so I have to go to that one to use up some string. So I'm going to pick up a seed bead, and our goal is to meet up to the other string. Pick up one seed bead and go through these two, fill the gap, pick up one seed bead and go through these two. Now there's something very important that I need to tell you. If you want to fill in the holes in the bottom of our basket, you have to do this one way in order to do that. And if you don't do it correctly, then your holes can't be filled in. So looking at this basket, you could see these two seed beads here, 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 and there's holes in between, and then we have our 6 seed beads in the center. We have to have both of our strings meet up straight from these 2 seed beads up these wooden beads right here, because if I were to have my seed beads, or my gap here, if I were to have both of my strings meet up right here at this gap, and then looking straight down, there's a hole, I would not be able to fill those holes in the bottom of our basket. So I have to have my strings meet right here, straight above one of these seed bead spokes that in the bottom of our basket. So I hope that makes sense. I'll show you on the smaller one here. Now I didn't fill the bottom of the holes of this one in, but I did do it the same way. I just don't have the beads down here. So right here, I met up to the side, and straight down, if you look, there's these 2 beads. So it could be at either one of these 2 beads, but you just need to be lined up right here with these 2 beads going like this, and right here we're going to put in our new bead. So I hope this makes sense. So right here, 2 beads lining up with this bugle. This is where we're at. Don't be where the gap is at and then go up and do your handle here, because then we won't be able to fill these holes in. So again, looking back at this, I have to fill in 2 more gaps, and I need this to be the spot where my strings meet, straight up from these 2 seed beads down here at the bottom. So I'm going to go to this string over here and fill this gap in so I can meet up to this string. So pulling this to the side, picking up 1 bead and going through these 2. So now both of my strings meet right here, straight up from these 2 seed beads right here. So what we're going to do is make the handle, it's going to go straight across. So right here, it's going to go straight across this line. Our handle's going to be right here, and then we're going to go down and fill in the holes in the bottom. So right now I have to pick up 1 more seed bead to fill this gap. So I'm just going to pick up 1 seed bead, and this time I'm going to cross my strings through it like this and bring that bead down. Just like this. So on this one here, you can see my lines are straight, these 2 lines going straight up the bugle. I have my handle, turning it right there. It's straight lined up with those lines. You don't want your handle to be this way with the holes. Okay, so now that we have this, we have to reposition our string so we can add our handle. So now I have to reposition my strings so I can put the handle on. So this basket here, you could see I have these 3 beads in between, and then I went up and added my handle. And this basket is the same. I have these 3 beads, and then I went up and added my handle. But this one I had to do it differently because my handle was not wanting to sit right on my basket. So I had to do 5 pearls in between, 5 beads in between instead of 3. And also I had to add an extra bead to this section here because it wasn't big enough. So here I am. I'm going to bend my basket just like this and pop that bead out so I can go through it easier. Just like this. Swap my strings and go through the bead right beside this one. Pull both strings tight, and if you have to, shape your basket to the inside just like this. And now I'm going to pick up the pattern of my handle. So I'm going to do 2 seed beads, 1 of these long beads, slide that down, 1 seed bead, 1 red wooden bead, a seed bead, a long one, a seed bead, a wooden, a seed bead, 1 of these long ones, and 2 seed beads. So these here are for the bottom of my basket, and the rest is for the other side of my basket. So this is what I have. This is the pattern I'm doing. Slide that down, and I have to go straight across. So right here, I'm going to go straight across. So this bead right here is what I have to go through. Not the one in the middle, just the side one. So looking straight across from right here, going straight across, I'm going to go through this side bead, not the center above the red. Pull it just like that. I'm going to turn my basket, take my other string, pick up 2 beads, slide them down, and now I have to go through all of these beads here. Just pass through all of them. just like this. Now I'm going to go through this long one, pull the string in, but not through those two. I'm going to add 2 beads right here, 2 seed beads. So pull this string tight. I'm going to wrap it around one of my fingers, like that. And I lost my 2 seed beads, so I have to pick those up again. Slide them down. So right here we have this middle bead that's over top of the red, and then we have this one on the side. So I'm going to go through this side one, just like this. And this is what it looks like. So pull it nice and tight. Okay, so here's our basket. Here's my handle. Now what I have to do is take one of my strings, doesn't matter which, we're going to do it to both. I'm not going to go through this middle one. I'm going to go straight down this wooden bead, the red one, and through the long one. And come out the bottom. Okay. Now I'm going to take this string and go through these 2 right here on the bottom. We are getting in position to fill the holes in the bottom of our basket. If you don't want to fill in the holes, you could just tie your knots up here. So what you would do is you would crisscross to the center one, and then your strings would go this way, and you tie your knots on the edge. So right here I am, and I have to get the other string in position. So I'm going to go through these wooden beads and through these 2 seed beads at the bottom. So now we are ready to fill the holes in the bottom of our basket, but before I do, I want to shape my basket and my handle, because my handle gets loose. You don't want your handle to be loose. So just like this. And now we are ready to fill the holes in the bottom. So now I'm going to fill the holes in the bottom of my basket, and I have 1 string here and 1 here. I'm just going to take one of the strings, and I'm going to put 3 beads in this side, and then I'll stop, get the other string, and put 3 beads in this side, and later on I will be exiting out of these 2 beads right here. So pick up 1 bead, slide it down. I'm going to go through these 2 beads right here, and right there's my bead. You can see it's protruding at the bottom. I'm just going to push it up through the top and pull it tight. Now I have to reposition my string, so I'm going to turn it and go through these 2 right here. Again, pull it tight, pick up a new bead, slide that down, turn my basket, and I'm going to go through these 2 beads. Then I'm going to push my new bead in to the bottom of my basket, so it's flat, just like that, and pull it tight. And I have to reposition my string again, so I have to go through these 2 beads right here. Just like this, and pull it tight. Take and pick up another bead and go through these 2 right here, and push this down to the bottom and pull the string tight. Now I'm going to swap to my other string, and before I pick up a bead I need to pull this tight because my handle will loosen up if I don't. So now I'm going to pick up 1 bead, slide that down, and I'm going to go through these 2 beads right here, repeating the same steps that I just did on the other side. So pull that down, push that into place. Now I'm going to go through these 2 seed beads right here, on this side, and then I'm going to pull it tight. I'm going to pick up a new bead and go through these 2. Push that bead down and pull the string tight. Reposition my string again and go through these 2 beads. Pull it tight. Pick up my last bead and go through these 2 seed beads right here, where my other string is exiting out of. Pull it through, push this bead down into the hole, and pull both of my strings tight. Now we have to reposition our strings so we could tie a knot. And before I do that, I'm gonna just tidy up my basket, straighten it out, and pull these tight. Okay, so now we have to tie our knots. So before we tie our knots, I have to pass both of these strings through these 2 wooden beads so we can tie our knots around the top edge of the basket. So both of them are out, and pull them tight because it still is a little loose down here. Now I'm going to split my strings, and I'm going to take one this way through these beads here. I'll probably go through 3 of them. Just like this. And then I'm going to take my other one and go this way. Just like that. And pull the strings really tight. And make sure these beads aren't popping out the bottom. Okay, so now we're ready to tie knots, and the knots are really easy. It's going to be half hitch knots, and all I'm going to do is take my string and get it to pass underneath one of my strings that are going across. So right here I have a string going across this way, and I tucked it under there, and I'm making a loop, and I'm going to go through this loop twice. You're going to be tying the knots the same on all 3 sides of these baskets. So put my loop right here and pull it down tight. Now I'm going to go through a couple more beads and tie another knot. Just like this, pull it, and the knot should be hidden under the bead. Now I'm going to pass my string back through underneath a string and catch it, make a loop, and go through the loop twice. Pull it down, just like that. So keep going, tying your knots around the edge till you get maybe the other side. Remember, do not cut your string at the knot. You want to pass through several more beads before you cut at the knot, because if you cut at the knot, it will come undone. It always comes undone if you do it like that. So make sure you tie knots on this side the same way you did on that side. Right here along the top edge, half hitch knots. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and like me on Facebook. And also don't forget to share pictures of the things you've made from my tutorials on my Facebook page. Thanks for watching.